Good morning. It's Rita Lucas here from Gingo to Tico, coming at you again. It's been a couple of weeks since we did a video. We had Tropical Storm Nate and a bunch of other things happen, and I'm finally back talking to you again. And today we're going to talk about shopping, buying your groceries, where to get fresh produce, all of those kinds of things that are so very important whether you're a tourist or living here. It's so much more helpful to learn from those of us who've been here before and can help you save your valuable dollars and get really good product. So the first thing we're going to talk about is groceries. If you buy your groceries where most of the tourists go, you're going to pay touristy type prices. If you buy your groceries and your food where more of the locals go, you are going to pay a more local price. So I've done a little compare thing a couple of years ago where I went to a local BMA in Uvita, which is like the most popular grocery store for people to go to. And then I went to the Hermanos Moro in Palmar Norte, which is basically a farming community. It's not a tourist or extranjero expat community. And from one grocery receipt to the other grocery receipt, same groceries, same thing. It was about a 27% difference, and that's a couple of years ago. And I don't expect that that's changed a lot. I haven't done it recently, but I do know that if I go to the BM in Uvita, I pay a different price than I even pay in the BM in Palmar Norte. Because Palmar Norte is a farming community, the BM in Uvita is more of a touristy. There's no farming, not a lot of big local community around that, locals, ticos. So that's one of the big things, is knowing where you're shopping. Shopping at ferias can be very valuable and save you a lot of money, get you really fresh produce, but be careful. Some of those ferias, the prices are more expensive than you can get on the street or in some of those really good local grocery stores like the Hermanos Moros in Palmar Norte. The feria in Palmar in San Isidro, the great big huge one, is where I go a couple of times a year, and I do a really big buy, and then I make my own salsa, my own ketchup, my own spaghetti sauce and things like that. And I do that like about twice a year. I make a whole bunch of pickles, and that keeps us stocked up with lots of great choices in food, because I'm all about eating fresh and real food. So that's what I personally do. And those are the things. It's watching where your prices are and what's current at the time and buying that. Like mangoes are not in season in October, November. They are super expensive now. Mangoes are cheap in May, June-ish, depending. Pineapples get cheaper in February. Onions and tomatoes tend to be cheaper November, December, and then again in like June. So there's very seasonal things. So it's learning to buy what's in season. And then I have a deep freeze and I do a lot of canning. So I freeze a lot of that, especially the fruit, so I can use it in my smoothies or in baking and those kinds of things when they're not in season. So it's learning to shop like that a lot, and it's more important here in Costa Rica to learn to shop like that, because you don't have the availability of the big grocery stores, the H-E-Bs, the Piggly Wigglies, the Safeways, the co-ops, or whatever, depending what country you're from and what part of the country you're from. So those are some very important things to take into account as you're living here in Costa Rica. Now the other thing is to know the different brand names of things that are almost exactly the same. You're used to buying your chocolate chips that come in whatever bag you get in North America, but here's the local chocolate chips. They're equally as good. They're half the price, and they're what goes in any of my baking that I need chocolate chips for. Instead of buying the Hershey's cocoa powder, which is like super expensive, I can buy this brand locally, and it's powdered cocoa. You see it there, Coco de Polvo, and it's exactly the same as Hershey's cocoa powder. It's not the organic stuff I prefer to get up at the San Isidro Feria, but this gets me by until I get back there to get some more. Things like oat bran. If you're looking for oat bran in the store and you're looking for the type of packaging that you're used to in North America, you will say you can't get oat bran in Costa Rica. Yes, you can. It looks like this. And it's quite often beside where all the oatmeals are and things like that. So, it's really learning to look for things. It's like if you want oat flour, there it is. See, oat flour, even in English, right there, oat flour. But this is what it looks like, avena molida. So it's, paying attention in your grocery store and learning to buy the locally produced and locally available, and you will save yourself a lot of money. One of the reasons I like shopping in Palmar Norte is the Hermanos Moros. They bring their produce in 3 times a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, I believe, is in that second second day, third day. I tend to go on Mondays or Tuesdays just because that's what works in my world. I go every 2 weeks and do my grocery buy. And that produce is coming off the truck Monday morning or as I go in there. Tuesday mornings, it's not quite so fresh. So that's why I prefer to go Mondays. It's being unloaded off the truck. I usually get there around 9:30 in the morning, and they're busy restocking everything after the weekend. And everything was on the farm yesterday or the day before. So I really like knowing, it's really important to me to know that my produce is really fresh. Because where I come from in Calgary, Alberta, Canada, a lot of our produce was very old and had been kept in containerized warehouses, pressurized, treated, whatever, refrigerated places, and it was not days old. I can tell you that for sure. So those are some of the things that are really important to me and things to look for when you're doing your shopping and where to get groceries. And, it's educating yourself, talk to people who've been in your area for a while and find out what they find works best, because so many people say Costa Rica is expensive, especially for groceries. Where are you buying your groceries is my first question. And I will show you how to save yourself at least 20% in your grocery bill just by looking for locally produced products, just by knowing where to go. So that's my story for today. Enjoy, have a great day, and this is Rita from Gringo to Tico. Thank you.